Welcome back to the In My Element podcast. Today we have a very special guest. It's Hao, right?
It's How.
Dude, how are you doing today, man?
Exactly. Doing real good, man. This is my first podcast. This is like a milestone moment for me. I'm pretty stoked.
Yeah, I was really hoping you would do it out of your element, and I'm so stoked that you're doing it out of your element
Yeah,
because
no, I
this
had to.
this might be the only podcast that happens inside of a Honda Element. So here we are.
Yeah, cool, dude.
Um, so you just kind of started, like, you quit your job and you just moved into your van. Can you tell us a little bit about how you started that journey and why?
Yeah, so van life just, I kind of happened upon it. I've been a big YouTube watcher for a while. I don't have cable or anything like that. So YouTube was pretty much where I get my entertainment, a lot of my education and stuff like that. And one day I just happened upon van life and I thought it was really cool. People were like decking out these sprinters and all that. And it was just kind of like something that was out of my reach, right? Just like buying a sprinter and converting it. It never occurred to me that that could be a reality at all, right? But I followed a couple like van life channels, a couple of the big ones, and that was it for a while. But then COVID hit, and I started working from home, and all of a sudden I had all this like freedom, and I was working from home. I was in IT, so it's pretty much desktop support kind of thing. I would only be working when something went wrong, right? When someone called in a ticket or called me personally or emailed me. And then when that didn't happen, when it was kind of slow, which is, generally slow, I was working for the state of California. So, not the busiest environment at all times, but I would just be at home and I would feel like this job was getting in the way of my life now. You know what I mean? Like I
Mm.
had when I was going into the office, it was like I'm going into the office to work. I'm cool with that. Like I've made my peace with that. But now I'm home and I'm like kind of getting to do things like, I can like walk around the apartment or something like that. I can do laundry, I can like prep meals, I can walk around the block and then just, pick up on my phone or whatever. And it started getting annoying. I was like, I really don't enjoy doing this, right? It's like this job is getting in the way of things that I kind of want to do, right? So that's when the seed got planted, so to speak. And I just thought, hey, I think I'm going to quit my job. And I think I'm just going to see what happens and maybe just like not be afraid of what happens next or not be afraid of the unknown. And so I did that. I quit my job. I moved back to my parents' house. And then the element thing just came up. I honestly don't even remember how it started because my plan was actually to move out of the country. But complications with that, with COVID and everything like that, I didn't really want to just be waiting here at my parents' house for borders to open up and things like that. So then I thought, you know what? I have a little bit of money saved, and I have like from my job. I've been working there for like 6 or 7 years, so a little chunk of change. And I thought, why why leave now when there's so much I haven't seen in America? There's so much beauty here. I've always loved hiking. I've always loved being in the national parks. So I thought, let me just do that. Let me just buy something and convert it out and just do that. And I was so excited and I started. Elements is something I've been looking for a long time. I liked Honda. I'm kind of like a Honda fan, a lot of Honda Accords since high school, like used Honda Accords. So I started browsing for Elements and I found a really good one, and that's how it started, man. I'm actually still in my parents' garage right now. I'm leaving tomorrow.
Where are you headed? Where are you going?
We're going to Big Bend National Park in Texas. So I'm headed out
Awesome.
west. Really excited to get out west.
From where are you at right now?
Yeah, so my parents live in Maryland. This is where I was
Oh,
born and raised, and then I actually spent the last 10 years in California, but before that was just Maryland.
that's a drive, man.
Dude, yeah, I've done it a couple times, but it's just like coast to coast essentially.
So I stumbled upon your page, and I saw that you're like you have a YouTube channel. You've had it for a while,
Yeah.
but you did it more with like motorcycles and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
I saw you. I think you bought a KTM 390.
Uh-huh.
Dude, I rented that bike in Hawaii, and it's an awesome,
It is.
awesome motorcycle. Like, so
Did you
fun
rent
to
the
ride.
Duke?
Yes, I rented the Duke.
Yeah.
What's the difference between the Duke and?
Yeah, so the 390, I think there's like three of them. They all share the same single cylinder engine, but the Duke is kind of like they're naked for like urban use, I would say. They have the RC, which is more for like track use or like more of a hardcore street or track bike, sport bike, I should say. I think they have an adventure one as well with like kind of like knobby tires on it. But it's such a great platform. The Duke is by far the most fun. I think it's like really thumpy and it's like got a lot of torque down low where you want it.
Yeah, sorry for all the van lifers. We got to geek out on some motorcycles for a bit.
I saw you riding a motorcycle actually on one of your channels. I think you were riding like a Yamaha WR or something like that. But I was like, cool, this dude has an element and he rides motorcycles too. That's awesome.
Yeah. And I was really curious to talk to somebody else who like lives in a Honda Element because I follow like Nate and the guy who does like Honda Element van life.
Hmm.
And then Phil and Chan, like I follow them, but I've never got a chance to like talk to anybody who's actually in a Honda Element like myself. So I
Yeah,
was really stoked to like that reach out and that you said yes. I was like, all right, awesome.
yeah. Likewise, dude. Likewise.
You started the motorcycle channel and it looked like it was doing pretty well. Like you gained some traction on it. So it
Yeah.
looks like you're trying to like pivot now to more of like a van life channel. Is that right?
Yeah, so I mean, I sold everything. Like I sold my car, I sold my motorcycles. Unfortunately, with this kind of lifestyle, I guess it would be possible to like lug around a small light motorcycle, but being in the national parks, it's really just not that practical to do that. I mean, I would love to do that, but just for a couple reasons, maybe in the future. But yeah, that's how I started the channel. I actually bought a a motorcycle, right? A 2020 Honda CBR 500R, and there just wasn't that much content about
Mm,
it on YouTube. So I figured like I knew I would get some views, and I think that's what it started. Just sharing my experience with new guys who want to know about this motorcycle because when I'm in the market for something, I appreciate it when there's stuff out there. Even if it's like some idiot who doesn't know what he's talking about, I'm still gonna watch that video before I like potentially buy this thing that costs thousands of dollars. So that's how it started, and then throughout the year, I just like sold and traded motorcycles in California, and then yeah, no more motorcycle, but I still wanted to share. I think that's kind of my mindset with YouTube. If I can help someone that is not, as far along as I am, maybe on the same journey or even like kicking the tires, like I always say, like, even if it helps one person, even if one person likes the video, like, then it's worth it, right? In actuality, I'm like, oh my God, no one's watching our video. No one like, but that's what I tell myself. So that's what keeps me going, I guess.
So I actually really like your setup, especially with like the drawer, like the desk in the back or the drawer in the back, so you can like store all your stuff.
Yeah.
Did you build it yourself?
No, dude. This is an IKEA thing. It just fit
Really?
perfectly. It's like the cheapest like drawer you can buy. It's like I think it's meant for like children because it's like really small.
Okay.
Um, so it's just like unfinished. People love it. Has like a cult following because people like really design them and make them their own because it's just kind of like an empty slate. So I'm gonna put my stickers on it. But I just didn't install that third drawer, so it's empty space. You can't see it now, but my jackery's underneath there. And then I have like a little Tupperware kind of thing with like extra stuff in it. So it worked out perfectly.
And then what about the platform that you have like your bed resting on?
Yeah, so the platform is based off the Swerky design. The guy's name is Dan Swerks. I ran into him on Facebook. He's in all the Element groups, I think, and he made like a really cool video of how he built this pretty simple platform that doesn't require any like drilling into the Honda Element itself. You basically just remove those two plastic panels that cover like the rear seat brackets, and you just use the existing hardware. You put in like a little fence bracket, and then you just slide in your little two, or it's 3/4 inch ply that I used. And then the front of it is just a platform that drops down. So I have to put my seats all the way up, and then all the way like, straight up too. And then the platform comes down, and then I sleep. I'm 5'8", and it's just perfect. Maybe someone 5'9" could do this. But if not, you would have to drop the seats like vertically down, like back, and then drop the top of the platform, if that makes sense. It's hard to like describe it without seeing it, but then you would have like more freedom to lay out a bigger mattress or something like that.
Yeah, that's actually my setup. Is I push it forward and then I drop the seats down. Like I have a video, I'll post it right here that shows kind of how that works. But
Yeah,
yeah, I'm 5'9" and I've got like 6 feet of space. It's crazy.
yeah, that's awesome.
Like the Element's like such a versatile vehicle, and like you can look at like sprinters and stuff and be like, oh man, like that would be so cool to do.
Mhm.
But it makes like parking in places like inconvenient, and it's like definitely not as stealthy as a Honda Element. And I think it's a good way for like anybody to jump into van life if they wanted to try it, you know.
Totally.
The prices of elements are definitely increasing right now, which is kind of crazy to see like how much elements cost right now. But I think people are kind of picking up that it's a pretty sweet vehicle to have.
Yeah, totally. I think people love Hondas, like Toyotas, Hondas. Like people generally, anyone, like someone that loves their Honda or loves their Toyota, right? Like this is just, it's a basic, simple engine, and it's just like so practical. The only thing you could probably say negative, it's not as big, but I mean, bigger is not always better. It comes with a lot of challenges, like you said. So I mean, yeah, I'm totally loving the Element.
So you mentioned earlier that you're doing like IT for work. Are you still kind of navigate like how are you navigating making money on the road? Are you still doing IT work or are you just kind of like you go living off your savings?
Yeah, so that's a good question. As far as IT, I don't have anything against it. I mean, if it weren't for like me having a computer at a young age, I wouldn't be able to like help other people with their computer issues. But I don't like love it. I don't necessarily like want to be in front of a computer screen for 8 hours a day. It kind of destroyed my posture over all these years because I just wasn't very conscious about stuff like that back then, just like in a dark room hunched. It was just really, I'm still undoing that damage from being on the computer for so much. So as far as IT, not really. I do have my savings and my pension. A lot of it was thrown into the Element and fixing it up. The repairs were quite expensive, to be honest. So a big chunk of just getting to where we are today, just ready to hit the road. But I do sell on Amazon, so that's what I do, kind of like mainly now. And now that I had this, like, I cleared my debt before I started this journey, which was a big moment for me. I was in debt probably for like the better half of like 10 years, ever since college, really.
Wow.
And so that was like a big moment for me. And then selling my car, selling my motorcycles, just kind of like starting fresh is what this is. But I had a little chunk of change to play with, so I'm investing. Pretty much Amazon FBA is what I do, and so far it's been good. And I'm sourcing a couple of new products to launch next year, so it should be a nice source of kind of passive income.
Dude, like, and that's what a lot of like van lifers look for is they look for a way to like sustain themselves while they're on the road so they can go and like do whatever adventures they want to do. So that's like super awesome. Do you talk about that on your channel at all? I feel like people
No,
would like love to hear that, you know?
that's a good idea, dude. That's absolutely a good idea. Yeah, I like the flexibility, or just I haven't like totally hit the road yet, but the idea of just maybe like, even if I find a place that I like, I can just stay there, and I can even get a job or something, like waiting tables or whatever. I waited tables in college. I always kind of enjoyed it, like and I could do that, and just park for somewhere that I really enjoy, get to know like a city. And I really love the like flexibility that this lifestyle can offer you.
If like you mentioned earlier that you're sitting at a desk all the time, now you're gonna sit and drive, so you gotta be extra careful,
Dude,
like warming up your back, you know?
totally, totally, totally. I have my yoga mats here.
There
I'm
we
gonna bring
go.
a kettlebell on the road, and definitely been trying to get more into yoga. Maybe I can come take a yoga class, dude, because I've been really trying to like, learn about my body and how it works, and just like stretching every morning. I do the meditation, so it's just I think everything is kind of like coming together.
Dude,
That's
I
what it feels like.
I originally started this channel as like right like when COVID kind of hit. I was like, all right, I'll make like a YouTube channel because I had no work and nobody fucking watched me, dude. Like nobody really cared about the yoga stuff. And there's so much like competition out there with like yoga content, you
That's
know?
true. I bet.
So I slowly like try to like figure out what people wanted and I tried like hiking content and that was okay, you know. But then once I started posting about the element and van life, that's like when it really started to take off and people really enjoyed that. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm a van life YouTuber now, you know. Is your YouTube channel, is it monetized?
Yeah, so I think I hit 1,000 subscribers a couple of months ago. I was in Yosemite National Park on one of my motorcycles, so that was like a milestone for
Congrats.
me. So yeah, thank you.
That's awesome. So you get a little bit of passive income from that as well.
Yeah, a little bit. So hopefully we can keep going with it, and then I don't know, joining forces here probably help a little bit too. So
Yeah, yeah. I'm like, I calculated it the other day and I'm making like $13 a day, which is not a lot of money,
dude,
but
it's
it
awesome.
it's awesome to think like, wow, I just like started this thing and now I'm making money while I'm not like working. And my goal has always been to like sustain myself with that so I can like kind of travel more and do more like, hiking adventures and stuff like that.
Um,
So I'm sure you share a similar goal, you know?
yeah, yeah, that's awesome, dude.
So you're heading out to Big Bend, and then from there, like what's the plan? Is there a plan?
Yeah, I don't know if there's like a concrete plan. There's so much to do out west, and I'm just kind of like overwhelmed by it all. But like I really want to see just like New Mexico, Utah, Arizona, and just spend some time out there. I don't really know like what the weather is like out there and like how soon it gets cold. And that's something that I'll have to deal with, like if I need to buy new gear or whatever. Because right now all my stuff is like it's like shorts and tank tops, man. I'm like I wear sandals hiking, you know what I mean? So if it gets cold, I'm just gonna have to change my plans a little bit. But that's it. I remember watching one of your videos actually, and you said that when you started van life, you were thinking it's gonna be like all traveling, you're gonna see the national parks. But that really resonated with me because I was like, huh, okay, I can take that wisdom. Because like that's where I am. Like, oh my God, it's gonna be great. I'm gonna see all the national parks. But you said that it's important to have a home base, or at least for you, it was like really important to have a home base, and that makes total sense. So I'm kind of venturing into the unknown. I don't want to be like too naive about it. That's why I've been watching videos like yours and all those channels we talked about earlier. So we'll see. I think I'm just gonna try to enjoy it no matter what happens, and I think it'll be all right.
You'll definitely be all right, and you'll learn a lot about yourself along the way. Like those long drives, it gives you a lot of time to think, man. You're like what am I doing with my life? Like is am I in the right path? But then you kind of like just I don't know, you like process stuff and you're like, okay, yeah, like I'm doing good, and like I have this freedom now that I never had before, where if I want to just park and stay here, I totally can. There's nothing like holding me back. There's no like job that's calling me back home, and you can like really discover where you really want to be. And if it that's ends up being like back home in a house, well, great. If that
Yeah.
means you want to continue doing van life, like, dude, go for it, So you do you have like any YouTube people that you follow that you like get inspiration from? Because I'm always looking for like new channels to watch, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Inspiration, like I think like half of my YouTube is just for entertainment, and then the other half is inspiration. But the thing about the inspiration ones, like I don't always remember their names because a lot of them are just like not talking heads. They have like, like animations or something like that. So I don't really know
oh,
who it is. But a lot of this stuff, like I don't know, like daily motivation or something like that. Actually, I can't really. I'll get
pull
back to you on that.
okay. Like if you want to pull it up right now, pull it up right now.
Yeah.
Like I can totally edit it.
Right on. Actually, as far as van life, I've been watching SUV RVing. I know that's not what you asked, but I've been watching a lot of his videos because he's in an SUV, so he's
Okay.
not in an element obviously. But other than that, I mean, his kind of path, that's what he does. He's just like all about, and he goes to like lesser known mountain ranges and like off the beaten path kind of stuff. I think he's like not into the places actually where a lot of people go. He's like especially not into that. But
SUV
minority
RV.
mindset is
That's a great name, dude.
he has like 100K. Yeah. So he started out in a RAV4, and now he bought a Yukon now, like a really old Yukon, and he's just rocking it out. He makes like really good nature video. He's always in nature, but it's a really great channel to watch. It's very relevant for van lifers, especially people in SUVs. And actually, one of my favorite things that he does is he interviews other like SUV van lifers, specifically SUV van lifers. He doesn't really interview sprinters and stuff like that. So like people in like things that maybe not so common, like a Subaru Outback or like a Scion or a Kia or something like that, FJ Cruiser. So it's really cool. He goes out to meet up with them and he shows off their build, and it really lets you see that like you shouldn't be limited by like one type of vehicle or one class of vehicle. Like you can really, if you want to make this work, you can. And I think you're better off for it in the long run. Instead of thinking that things need to be perfect, kind of be like willing to like pivot or make it work with what you have and be grateful like with just less. I think it's a good like complementary lesson. So not everyone needs a sprint or anything like that.
Yeah, I
But
I I kind of wanted to do something similar. Like that's kind of like what this podcast is, just like interviewing like random like van life people, And like you said, it's kind of like you can do it with any vehicle. And if you do buy the big Sprinter van or whatever, now you kind of have this like big like payment that you have to somehow figure out, and the experience is almost the same if you like go out and like travel to like a national park or whatever. Like it's no different if you're in a Sprinter or if you're in like a smaller SUV, you still get those like experiences.
Yeah.
And I've always said this, but I feel like people get held back because they don't have a van that they can stand in, or they don't have like the newest van. And I like you did, like
Yeah.
you just put in some money into the repairs, like, and even if it's an older car, it'll definitely do the job.
Absolutely, dude.
What's the best purchase you made under $100 for your van?
Best purchase? So that's a really good question. That's a really good question. Best purchase under $100. I don't know. I really like this, like like this right where my thumb is pointing. It's just like a tiny little like temperature gauge, and it has a humidity sensor on it and a little magnet on the back, and it just a couple of the like IKEA hardware like bolts are exposed, so it just like magnetizes onto that. And I
Oh,
really like it. I look at it like constantly when I'm driving just to see where the temperature's at, where the humidity's at. And I try not to overly run the AC, but if the humidity is getting too high, I try to think like what my situation is going into the night, and just running the AC, pull some of that moisture out of the air, and just kind of keeping tabs on the inside of the vehicle while I can control it. Because once you're parked, you can't really do too much to control it at that point. Um, and it has like this smiley face. I think that's what gets me. Like it has a smiley face and a not smile. It's not a sad face, but it's like the straight line mouth. And like when the humidity is getting too high and the temperature is getting too high, it goes to that one. So now it's just like I don't like seeing them. Like I gotta get it up, gotta get it smiley face again. So that was like it was like $8. I'm not sure if it's my favorite, but it's one of my favorites.
they've gamified the temperature. Amazing.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's a super awesome, man. Well, where can we find you like on like social media? Like where are the best places to like search your YouTube channel and all that?
Yes, so my YouTube channel is the Hao Vu Moto Vlog. It's a mouthful. Like I said, it started with motorcycling. I didn't feel like changing the name. I probably lost a whole bunch of followers who were like, "What the hell? Where are the motorcycles, dude? We came in for the motorcycles, right?"
Right.
But the Hao Vu Vlog, that's what we're doing now. I'm kind of exploring maybe different avenues to do like day-to-day stuff. Just like talking in front of the camera, selfie style, just like quick, like funny, stupid stuff that maybe wouldn't make it into a normal video. And just kind of like sometimes people want to see like what it's like in the moment, or sometimes you just want to whip out your phone real quick and show people something interesting. So I'm thinking whether I'll go Instagram, TikTok. I'm not sure. It's probably going to be one of those two. But right now it's the How Moto Vlog, and I'll be sure to let everyone know if anything changes, dude.
You got to change that name. Is it? I like it works for now,
I
but
can't think of anything. I've tried to think of that, and also I want something to put at the end of my video titles, so it's like like people like see it and it's consistent and it means something. But I can't, like Element Van Life, man. That's like taken.
I know, I know. Well, if you're watching this and you have any great ideas, leave a comment down below and like let us know how we can like rename this, because I I I struggled with that too. I was like, well, what do we call this? And I just ended up on my name, and it
Yeah.
works for like some people, it doesn't really mean anything about the
Hmm.
element, but it also means that like I can kind of pivot this content in a way, I'm not like kind of like labeled as
Totally.
the element guy, you know?
Yeah.
All right, amigo. Is there anything we didn't ask or you want to add into this before we close it out?
Oh man, this is a super chill interview, man. You're good at this.
I think this is the third iteration of the In My Element podcast. So thank you so much for being on here and taking the time. I definitely want to like check out your van. So if you're ever like in SoCal, dude, hit me up and we can do like a collaboration and we can like check out your camper setup and all of that.
For sure. I plan to winter in SoCal. I think that's like my tentative plan. I don't know where yet, but somewhere where it's a little warmer and I can just kind of get my bearings.
Dude, right on. Come to a yoga class. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure that you like and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. Thank you so much, Hal. And you guys take care. We'll see you in the next one.
Thanks, Steve.
Peace.